Hey guys, happy Saturday. We are in the middle of we're in the midst of eclipse season. And this week, that's September 14th through 20th. I'm recording on Saturday. This is for Sunday the 14th to Saturday the 20th is a potent week. I'm sure you can feel it in the air, but I wanted to give us just a snapshot of what's going on in the cosmos so that we can get a little bit of sense about some of the stuff that we might be experiencing. It's worth noting that Mars is active this week. I'll get into the details. And Mars being active, it's right now it's going to be in an opposition to Chiron this week, and then we're going to have our solar eclipse, and then Mars is going to square Pluto just a couple of days after that solar eclipse. And Mars is an active energy. Mars is can be uh triggering. Mars can just signal energetic movement. um but Mars is really going to get remind us of the heart of the issue is the choices that we make, that we are always in charge of our action. And this week is going to be a very wonderful week for us to do a little bit of self-reflection and make sure we're not just simply acting for or pushing for its own sake. And this is a week for us to really remember that we are the microcosm to the macrocosm, and that everything that we experience in our world is somehow also a product of something that's inside of us. So when we're seeking transformation in this eclipse season, really taking ownership of everything that we ourselves are and everything that we ourselves, vibrate about. So let's get to what's happening on Sunday. Sunday we have that's actually nothing's happening on Sunday. Let's get to Monday because the week is pretty full. But so Monday the 15th, not that nothing's happening on Sunday, but I think Sunday might be just a low key day. Monday, we've got a lot of stuff going on. We've got Venus by quintile Neptune and Mars by quintile Uranus. Neptune's in the sign of Aries. Uh, well, so it's interesting to have both Venus and Mars are part of this dance. I mentioned I'm featuring Mars in the headline because it's because of all the aspecting it's doing to some of the planets, but Venus is right there with Mars. And so if we think about what in general those two planets symbolize, divine masculine, divine feminine, or this larger concept of yin and yang and balance. And so Monday's going to give us those two aspects, are going to offer us some new insights on how to rebalance, bring our lives even more and ourselves even more into balance. As we're in eclipse season, it can be just something that comes across our radar that we kind of have an aha moment about. This is the point in the cycle of this solar year in eclipse season that we get these flashes. And so this is a really good week to take some time for introspection and to trust your intuition. We also have Mercury semi-sextile Venus and semi-sextile Mars. So again, the Venus and Mars thing is going to be a theme throughout this week. And so this is going to help us get a new sense of where we're headed, what's possible, what's needed, what's missing, and also the idea that we're not done yet. But also, just because we're not done yet does not mean it's not possible and does not mean that we're not worthy at all. So those two things, not done yet, doesn't mean throw in the towel and go home. Just means, all right, I'm in the middle. You know that feeling of being in the middle? Might have a little bit of that this week. But being in the middle is also, depending on how you look at it, being in the midst and the heart of transformation. Really potent stuff. We also have Venus sextiling Mars on Monday. So this is reminding us that together, when our own selves are in harmony, and that when we're in working with the collective, and we're working with each other, together we get more done. We are not in isolation. Even though this week might be a good week to spend some time on your own, this isn't a week to simply declare that you don't want anything to do with the world ever again. Tuesday, we have Mercury in that it's Mercury's at the anaretic degrees of Virgo for the first part of the week, and it shifts into Libra for the second part of the week. I apologize for the chickens. I meant to apologize before I got started. Um, they're laying their eggs right now. There's not a lot I can do about it. At least we're not doing a meditation. So Mercury's quincunx Chiron. Tuesday's a Chiron day. Chiron's super duper active. Chiron is in Aries. So Mercury quincunx Chiron is going to say that, you know, our we're going to get a sense of the adjustments that could be made in our external world and how we take action. And maybe also a sense of how some of the autopilot action that we've just been humming along is not necessarily serving us, or it's a story that we've told ourselves that is an old, outdated story that is time for upgrade. We also have Venus trining Chiron. So this is, again, you know, it's this idea that we do know the truth of our value. We do know how to hold ourselves in higher vibration. We do know how to achieve balance. The major aspect that happens on Tuesday is Mars opposing Chiron. This is the kind of the big event of the week in my sense of this here. Mars opposing Chiron is giving us an opportunity to realize our karmic patterns and to become aware of how those patterns affect us, how those patterns affect our sense of who we are, affect our sense of whether and why we're valuable. And they also affect how we impact the world. So this type of awareness is potent. I'm going to use the word potent again. This type of awareness can bring us to really want to birth a new desire, a new vision, the desire for something else, a desire for the shift. So being in the middle is going to be this is the perfect aspect right here. We're in the middle, and all of a sudden on Tuesday, Mars opposing Chiron. Oh, I'm so glad I'm here because yes, I'm ready for a shift. You can almost feel the drain, and you can feel the hand from behind you starting to guide you. And there may feel like conflict or something like a storm that's impelling us to move somewhere, and also impelling us to move beyond our habitual autopilot conditioned ways of being. Some of this is deeply personal, some of this is just part of being connected to the collective. And these realizations are going to come up for us to really have these aha moments. And one of the themes here is that as within, so without. So if we are having a frustrating time, or witnessing frustration, or witnessing challenge, or feeling there's a lot of aggression, and I don't want to use the word, but I will, hate or negativity, really strong, like energy. This week is a week where we might feel that. This is also a week where we're going to be it would be really good for us to pump the brakes before we just react, because this week is about the challenges, but it's about the bigger picture, the getting the downloads for the bigger picture, and understanding that these challenges are part of the gas for the locomotive train that's going across the country or wherever you're at. Do you know what I mean? This is a part of the fuel, and this is the part of the real deep desire for newness and healing. So that's the first Mars aspect. Then we have the solar eclipse, and then I'll talk next week about the second Mars aspect, which is Mars squaring Pluto. But let's just take it one step at a time, because there's enough for us to really steep ourselves in this week. On Wednesday, the 17th, we have Mercury opposing Saturn. Mercury in the anaretic degrees of Virgo opposing Saturn in Pisces. So this is, again, be careful what you say. Your words have power. And this is an idea of not just to be reactive, but to be, to go within and to write out or put your stake in the ground for what the world that you want to live in, and then to be that person. Challenging stuff, good stuff, powerful stuff. potent stuff. Thursday we have Venus in Leo, quincunx Saturn in Pisces, and that's going to be, there's going to be some adjustments that we're going to see need to be made for the beauty and the justice and the harmony of all. And this is kind of karmic stuff this week too. We have the sun in Virgo, also quincunx Chiron. So this is more encouragement to hop off autopilot. If there's anything we're autopiloting in 3D, it's a good idea to just be here now, be present, check in with ourselves moment to moment to moment to moment. Not just to do what we always do, because it's how we conditionally do things. And then we also have on Thursday, Mercury is now at 0 degrees of Libra, and it's opposing Neptune. Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries. So this is about karmic communications. This is about the understanding that there's a sacredness in the words that we speak, the things we give our attention to, and the visions that we hold. And so there's going to be this, the word prayer is a little bit loaded, but the idea here would be there's going to be some revelations about communications in general, karmic revelations about communications in general in our world. But for us as individuals, this is a time for us to really have a new download as to how powerful we are in this moment in time where we may feel totally powerful. We may not feel very powerful. We may feel insignificant. We may feel like we don't even want to touch the collective. We're powerful. We're going to be reminded of that this week. On the 19th, which is Friday, Mercury is the star of the show. It's trining both Uranus and Pluto. Uranus is in Gemini, Pluto's in Aquarius. They're in their new signs. So this is the outer planets. Even though the 3D world is feeling like transformation's happening, the outer planets are trining is just a really harmonious aspect. So there's going to be this balm of light and this remembrance to raise our vibration, to hold our vibration high, to not get involved in reactionary soup, to not do the things that we've always done, or to really to be motivated to find new ways of being. And it's a grand trine, it's worth noting, because we also have, on that day, we have Uranus exactly trining Pluto as they're trining Mercury. So that means that Uranus and Pluto, that also has the idea for explosive communications, lightning bolt fast communications. This is the notion of downloads. There might be some revelations here about communications. And then on Saturday, Venus is the star of the show. She is moved into the sign of Virgo. She is at 0 degrees of Virgo, very beginning of the sign. She's simultaneously quincunx Neptune, squaring Uranus. And this aspect is gonna help us to see new views, to see new ideas of what it means to live in an interconnected world, what it means to live in a just, harmonious, beautiful, and balanced world. And it's also going to help us see that, we're not in a world of duality. Pluto's going to make that very clear. It's not just one thing or the other. There's everything in between, and very likely everything in between is where the power lies and is where the answer lies. And so instead of having it be the same old song and dance, it's going to be inviting us to make some shifts. There are some shifts that need to be made in the 3D world. Also, I forgot to mention that Venus is also quincunx to Pluto. So Venus is aspecting all 3 outer planets, reminding us that we live in this 3D world, and these bodies are the product of everything that has come before. And if we're in these moments seeking to be the change and seeking to be the light, really good time for us to take some steps to do that. We also on Saturday have Mars in Libra, quincunx Saturn. So this is going to help us really actualize the 3D realizations, feel the motivation to do the right thing. There's some karma there about about our actions toward the end of this week. And I'll close with saying that is the week, and the very next day I'll do a podcast about it. The week after this one, on the 21st, next Saturday, no, next Sunday, sorry, we have the lunar eclipse, and then we have that Mars Pluto aspect. So I'll let you all know what that's about next week. But have a blessed week. Thank you for being with me on this journey. Bright blessings. Happy eclipse season.